welcome to episode 7 of Shirley's Salad Podcast. This might be a short podcast because I haven't been doing very much. I started designing my own pair of mitts, but all I seem to be doing is crossing out what I've written down and tinking or frogging, and I'm hoping to wear them this fall. And it's already been one day that has been cold enough to wear gloves, so I haven't decided whether I will stop designing them and just find a pattern from somewhere. But let's see. And then another thing I am knitting is a pair of socks. Well, I'm supposed to be knitting a pair of socks. Well, not supposed to be, but I haven't thought of anything I'd like to knit, so I came across this yarn in my stash, and I have no idea what it is. But one problem I'm having is I looked on Ravelry for a pattern, and there are so many patterns. It's just so difficult to choose one. I've already been looking for a few days. I should just choose one and start. But it's too bad you can't just, I don't know, can you random pick a pattern? I'll have to look. Sorry, I forgot to mention that you might hear a humming in the background, and that's our freezer. I've had to move it take it out of the kitchen because we're going to have some what's the word? some work done in the kitchen, and I had to empty off the floor, and the freezer was right on the floor. And I may as well talk about it now. By next podcast, I might not have too much done by then either, because I might have to move. I don't know yet. Will I have to completely move out, or just while they're doing the work on the kitchen? And if I have to completely move out, then I have a lot of packing to do. I've lived here for over 15 years, so I have gathered a lot of stuff around. And then one thing I have finished is the rough sea shawl by Creta Sailor or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it. As I guessed, it didn't turn out as big as the instructions said it would, but because I don't know what yarn weight this is, but it turned out quite okay. It's bigger than I thought. I thought it would just be something for around my neck, but I think I'll be able to put it over my shoulders. I haven't tried it on yet. I unpinned it after blocking. I think I could have blocked it more, but I thought this was okay. I like the design on the side. Kind of looks like flowers to me. So that's done. Sorry about the needle. And then, by next podcast, last time I said that I had to fix these mitts. It took me a lot longer than it should have, but there's no laddering anymore. I think it would have been a lot quicker to go to the store, buy some ribbing, and just sew it on. But I didn't do that. I was determined to fix it myself, and I did. That's done. And then now for next podcast, what I want to do is Ben over at Knit Knit Cafe has a challenge that you should go to your stash and pick out something that you, I forget how he worded it, but I interpreted it to mean to pick out something from your stash that you don't know what you want to do with and has been there for a while. And this ball is probably, if not the oldest, pretty close to my oldest yarn in my stash. Probably from a charity store a long time ago. I don't know why I bought it, because there's a lot of green, and especially back then I wasn't very interested in any shades of green. To my surprise, recently I have noticed that, oh, that green looks nice. But yeah, so I chose this ball and I washed it, and I just wound it up last night. I used a paper towel roll to wind it on. That was quite soft because I didn't wind it too tightly. I haven't, did I say that part of the challenge is that you have to use the yarn, and it should be made by October 31st. I don't know yet what I'm going to make, but something, I hope. And then my crocheting. Last time I showed you one of my squares, and now I have quite a few done. I calculated that with the amount of yarn I have, I could make 75 squares if I can use every bit of the yarn and use the same amount of yarn for each one. And before I calculated how many squares I could get, I thought, well, I'll make one a week, and then there won't be too much stress. But if I can get 75 squares, and it will take me, if I decide to do one a week, then it's going to take me 75 weeks. So I changed that, and I'm going to try and do 2 squares a week. Well, I've done a few more, and I think I could just work on these, but I'm afraid if I do that, I might get a bit bored with them, and that'll be the end of that. And I drew out some squares. Can you see the colors? Yeah, so I want to try to get as many different types of squares as possible. So for the first line, I just took the same order and just changed it every square, and I'll have to see how many squares I can make with that way. Yeah, and I didn't mention last time either that on the internet, and I'll link to it on YouTube, one crocheter showed a way of weaving in your ends when you start, or not, it's not really weaving in your ends, but putting your ends in somehow. And then also when you finish, you take a needle and she shows a way to do it. So I've been doing that. I still have left the ends a bit. I'll decide later whether I need to weave them in any more than they already are. And what else is on my show notes? Well, there's not really any more crafting. But the book I'm going to show is, the freezer's now where my desk, or not my desk, but my little table I used to have my stuff on. This is a crochet book by Mayra. Mayra Uystila. I should know that name, I've heard it before. She has these squares, and of course it's going to be different now. Of these animals. There's quite a few of them. I hope it shows. Can't really see. There are quite a lot of them, and then she shows you different ways you can use them. For example, this bird, you can also, well, I guess all of these designs also can be cross-stitched onto things. And then she shows you ways that you can use them, and then also gives edgings for these different things. So this is the same bird as she showed in the cross stitch. And then here's a little snail with added detail. And then there's also a section with flowers that you can make, and quite a lot of them. And then different ways you can use them. I've got these edgings for these also. And then if you don't like flowers or animals or other things that she has, she just has these simple designs. I think this one looks quite nice. A lot of them, not a lot of them, of course now it doesn't show. Anyway, to sew onto pillow cushions. And then at the back, there are also edgings. Every time I look at these kind of crochet books, I always think, oh, I really would like to make these little doilies or table runners. But then reality hits, and I know that I probably would never use them. It's not my style to put them on the table. And last, something about Finland. I don't know why I haven't thought about this before. And I don't know if it's common knowledge because I live in Finland, so I don't know what the rest of the world knows about Nokia. But Nokia phones are Finnish. My phone, as you can see, is really simple. It's old, but when I bought it, I didn't want anything else than being able to send text messages and receive them and make phone calls. I wasn't really interested in a camera or anything else. So I think the next time I get a phone, I might want a camera, but I'm not sure yet. This has been fine, and I've had it quite a few years. So I haven't stopped saying so. Yeah, that's all for now. Hopefully, or maybe not, I don't know, next podcast we'll have to see if I have anything done, or have I been busy packing. Okay, bye for now.